Hi there, this is Abby from MosaLingua. How's your learning going? Today, I'm not going to talk to you about English grammar like the last episode. Instead, I want to talk to you about the best ways to improve your understanding of the English language. As a teacher, I hear the same complaints over and over again. English is so hard to understand. I can't tell when one word ends and the next word begins. The pronunciation is so strange, etc., etc. I totally understand these complaints, and I think they're justified. I remember that I myself used to complain about the same things when I began learning French some time ago. But the more I learned about the language, the more I understood, to the point where now, even if someone is mumbling at me in French, I have no problem understanding them. This is why it's so important to be aware of a few key elements about the English language if you want to seriously improve your comprehension. Let's see what those are. First, spoken English is not the same as written English. Quite often, your first contact with English is made by reading textbooks in school. Then, you get totally confused when you hear English being spoken because it does not sound the way it looks. Unlike some other languages, Spanish for example, English is not pronounced like it is written, so it's very hard to guess the pronunciation of a word just by reading it. Take this word on the screen and try to pronounce it. We pronounce it comfortable. See the difference? Actually, most words are pronounced differently than you think they should sound. This is why you won't improve your understanding of English just by reading. Focusing on reading, especially in the beginning, can actually slow down your overall progress. This is why we insist that you always listen to a new episode for the first time without the text in front of you. Next, letters are pronounced differently in different words. And trust me, this happens quite often. And this is another reason why your reading skills can actually hinder or slow down your understanding of English. Want an example? How about the word tough? Here's how it's spelled. T-O-U-G-H. The GH combination is pronounced like an F in this word. Weird, right? Let's go for another one. Though. Quite different, huh? Well, this word is actually spelled exactly the same as the last word, except for one added H. T-H-O-U-G-H. The GH is not pronounced at all this time. See how reading can fool you? And there are tons of examples like this one in the English language. Next, words are strung together. This is another thing that you cannot see when reading. Quite often, we join together common words and drop some syllables altogether when we speak. This can make it very hard for non-native speakers to understand these words, even though they might be words that a beginner would easily recognize on paper. Here are two very simple sentences. How do you think they should be pronounced? Here's how a native speaker would pronounce these two sentences. Are you going to come to the party? I don't know. There's a radical difference. I know. But I'm sure this same phenomenon happens in your native language too, right? When we are comfortable with a language, we tend to speak it quickly, which can cause our words to blend together sometimes. Again, It's important to be able to recognize the difference between what you see and what you hear. So, we've seen the main reasons why it can be difficult to understand English. But don't worry. Here are my tips to help you overcome these difficulties. You need to stimulate your auditory memory when learning a new language. And this starts right from the beginning. Whenever you review your flashcards with the MosaLingua app, take the time to read them out loud. The more you repeat them, the more easily you will remember the correct sounds. It will also help make English sounds feel more natural to your ear when you hear them again in the future. Next, it's important to immerse yourself in English on a daily basis. Of course, you'll listen to these episodes, but you could also listen to a podcast or a YouTube video. 5 to 10 minutes a day is enough. Trust me. The words you've learned will start to magically stick out when you hear them. Finally, you need to proceed step by step when you practice immersion. There's no need to understand everything the first time around. Start just by picking out the words you know. And as you get better with more practice, the more words and short sentences will begin to make sense. It's important not to be discouraged by what you don't know now, but rather focus on what you have already accomplished and set goals for the future to stay motivated. That's it for this video. I will see you again very soon for more language learning tips. Until then, happy learning!